looks like we still have some more square root work here and perfect squares that we're working with. Determine the positive value that makes each equation true. If the answer is not a whole number, write it as a square root, and then approximate it as a decimal rounded to the nearest tenth. All right, so part A. Again, you want to make sure that you are writing what I am writing. So if x squared equals 36, then what does x equal? So remember, to undo a perfect square, we take the square root. So the square root of 36, or we could, imagine what times what, or what integer times itself, gives us 36. Well, I know that 6 times 6 equals 36. So in this case, our answer is going to be 6. All right, let's take a look at part B. Again, make sure that you are writing down what I am writing. Now part B, if x squared equals 65, then what does x equal? Well, again, to unsquare a perfect square, we take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of 65. And when I do that and I put it into my calculator, I get 8 and quite a few decimal places after that. There's nothing repeating, so keep in mind we do need to round to the nearest tenth. If I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, so what I get is 8.0622577748. Now we're rounding to the nearest tenth, which means this decimal place right here. So that 6 tells us that we are going to round up. So our answer is going to be, let's use that squiggly equals sign, because that tells us that it is approximately 8.1. All right, next we're going to move on to C here. And for C, it tells us that x squared equals 84. So what is x? Well, let's keep doing what we're doing. We're going to take that square root of 84. And I know that 84 is not a perfect square, so we will get a decimal for this. So the square root of 84, when I put it into my calculator, again, I'm going to get a decimal. It's going to give me 9.16515139. Again, we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so that's just 1 after the decimal. This 6 in the hundreds place tells us that we're going to round that tenth up to a 2. So x is going to equal approximately 9.2 in this case. All right, finally, let's have a look at D. So D is telling us that x squared is 13. Again, to unsquare a square, we take the square root. I know that 13 is not a perfect square, so this is going to give us a decimal as well. So when I put this into the calculator, I get 3.60555125. Okay, remember we are still rounding up to that tenths place. I have a 0 in my hundreds place, which tells me that it's going to stay a 6. We do not round up, we keep it at 6. So our answer for this is going to be x equals approximately 3.6. And that's all for 989.